Hey, everybody, it's your girl Barbie J here, and I am back with the recap and review of All the Queen's Men's Season 3, Episode 10, Nowhere to Hide. And the synopsis reads Detective Davis tips off Madam about the DA's new evidence. Tandy is determined to track down her stolen money, and Madam searches for the nurse responsible for monitoring her father. And I got to tell y'all, this episode came with a lot of unexpected twists and turns that I did not expect, and you probably didn't expect either. So before we get started with my recap, if you haven't subscribed to my channel as of yet, please take a moment right now and subscribe to this channel, June BLC. Just hit that notification bell and select all, and then it'll let you know every time I upload any new content. Then I ask that you hit that thumbs up button, which is the like button, write a comment and join the conversation, and share because sharing is caring. So this episode starts off with Blue, Tommy, and Madam leaving the nursing home after Madam done stabbed Carla, her sister, and they get into the car and they're driving. Madam is pissed. She's like, I only spared her because of my father. This biatch is getting on my nerves. She's always been a problem and stuff. And they're like, I know. And Tommy's like, you want a cookie? But these cookies be killing me. And Blue was like, what is it with you and them cookies? He said, maybe you should try one to see. She grabbed it and said, give it to me, and threw it in the back. Said, nobody want that ish, And so all of a sudden, Madam get a phone call, and it's from Detective Davis. And she's letting her know that they have footage of her from the halfway house and the judge's chamber, and that they put it in her email, Detective Davis' email box, and backdated it. So they're trying to set her up. And Madam's like, really? And she said, yeah. She said, so Detective Davis said something, and Madam said, are you threatening me? She said, no, I'm asking for help. She said, I can't talk on this phone. It's a burner, but can you meet me at 878 Old Woodbury Road or something like that? She said, don't come with a car with a burner and don't bring anybody you know. And then she hung up on her. And they asked Madam, what was that all about? And she told her everything. She told them everything. And they said, I thought concierge was taking care of that. And she said, well, he seemed to be using it now against me. So he's making his move, y'all. So we got to be aware. So Tommy's like, do you want to go there now? She said, no, I want to go to my club. Take me to my club. And they're saying the police are going to be there because Carl are going to call the police on you. She said, I don't care. And then she said, after that, I'm going to pay that nurse biatch a visit. And y'all know who that one is. That's the one who was taking care of her father and didn't let Madam know that they came in to get him. So now we got a good scene with the Men of Eden locker room. We got Doc trying to show Big D the moves that they have to do on stage, and Face is getting jealous and saying, oh, he trying to take one of our spots, and him and Doc Midnight go back and forth about that, and then they try to mention Fuego or whose spot he's trying to take. Maybe they're trying to take Fuego's spot. Fuego is ignoring them, and Fuego's like, look, I'm studying. And he's like, you still with this shit? He said, yeah, I'm still with it, because remember now, somebody sent Fuego a message on his computer in the last episode saying that they, talking about him or something like that. So then Amp comes in and Face goes, well, maybe, you ain't gonna say nothing when this guy talking about Big D is sleeping with your girl. And Amp looks at him and said, look, keep me out of y'all ish. So then, who was it? Midnight and Doc went in there to talk to Amp in a separate little area. And they had this jar of pills or something like that. I guess they said, look, we take drugs too, but you going real deep, bruh, we take it for the paper. You going beyond that, and we don't want you to go out like that. We know what happened with you and Madam because of Dime, and that ain't right. But we just trying to look out for you. And if you ever need a brother to, somebody to talk to or lean on, just come and reach out to us. So this is Doc saying it at midnight. He said, we like a family here. And Amp is like, we ain't no damn family or something. Dimes whispered in your ear, y'all sit out my throat. And he said, you would do the same thing to us, He said, no, I wouldn't. He said, yes, you would. Because that's what we do. We look out for each other. So Amp was like, are y'all through? And Doc said, see, this is why I don't get involved in other people's business. He said, because he making me want to bust his head open or something like that. So he walked away, and Midnight threw the pills back at Amp, and they walked out, and they were talking right outside the door, and Amp called them back in because he thought about it. So he called them back in and told them, I hear y'all. And he threw the pills back at them and walked out. And Midnight said to Doc, I told you. So now we have Champ and Trouble showing up to the club, and Dime sees them saying, y'all are late. Get in their dressing room and get dressed right now. And they're like, we need to talk to Madam. And she's like, you can't talk to Madam now. Get dressed. You hear me? And they like, have you seen Ray Sean? No, I don't know where Ray Sean is, but y'all better get y'all butts up on the stage. And she's like, now, else you're going to lose your job. So they walk away wondering where the hell Ray Sean could be. So now we back to the car with Madam Blue and Tommy, and they're pulled over to the side. He got people scanning to see if there's any police cars there waiting at the club for Madam. And Madam, she's being all tough and stuff. I don't care. You think I'm scared? Take me to my effing club. He said, Madam, we just want to make sure that nobody's waiting for you there. You think I'm scared of the police? We know you're not scared of nobody, Madam. And by the way, Carla's in the hospital. You think I care? Yeah, we know you don't care. But she looks like she's going to make it. She's like, so, she's just like all out there. And I think she's not strategic enough and plan. She needs to be strategic and plan. That's the way concierge and them are. That's how you could get trapped. So he got a word from his people that the club is clear. And then she goes, okay, well, take me to my club now, but stop me by my house to change my clothes. Well, girl, you doing all this messing around and arguing about taking you to the club. You should have said, take me home first. That's what she should have said. So that scene kind of made no sense to me. Anyhow, back at the club, Dime comes up there and tells Champ and Trouble that they have a VIP and the same lady wants both of them. And they're sitting there like, what's up with that? That's very unusual. They said they think it's a setup, and they're talking amongst themselves because Dime has gone. And Trouble doesn't want to go up there, but Champ is like, come on, we got to go up there. And of course, when they get up there, you know who it is. Miss Tandy looking for her daggone money and actually looking for Ray Sean in Trouble, not Champ. She tells him that they almost killed her husband, and they said, not us. She said, well, Ray Sean almost did. And Trouble's like, what the F you want? And she's like, I want my money. And she's like, who sent you? Did Madam send you? And Trouble said, yes. And I said, why did she do that? She said, so Madam sent you? She said, you heard what the F I said? And, Champ looked at her like, are you for real? Like, blaming it on Madam? So Trouble said, you ain't getting no dance. And so Miss Tandy got up to leave, and they said, we got to check you. And they checked her to see if she was wearing a wire or any kind of recording device, and then she left. And Champ said, why did you tell her that Madam did it? She said, she ain't going to check Madam. He said, you better hope she don't, else we going to be in trouble. So now we see Miss Tandy making her way through the crowd in the club, and she sees Face, and she's asking him where Ray Sean is. And he said, why? So you could rape him again, you and your husband? He said, he ain't effing with you again. She said, I thought you was his pimp. She's like, please. He's like, everybody around the club know what you did. Ain't nobody else, none of the real dancers are going to mess with you anymore. And she still kept asking about Ray Sean. He's like, why you want to find him so bad? He don't want to have nothing to do with you. And she's saying she thinks he's lying and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, you know what? You want VIP or something? You want some of this? She said, no. He said, oh, it's like that? She said, yeah. He said, then F it. Just be lonely and sit your ASAP right over there and wait for him. And I was laughing like, oh, snap. So before Miss Tandy could walk away, Madam came by with Blue and Tommy. And she's like, can I speak with you? And Blue's like, she don't want to talk right now. And she said, nah, it's good. I'll talk to her. She said, can I speak with you in your office? She said, okay, send her to my office. Meanwhile, Trouble and Champ are on the stage and they see all of this transpiring. They know they in trouble now or something. So they get to the office and Miss Tandy's like, I want my money back. No, she said, I think you know why I'm here. And Madam looks at Blue like, what do you think, I'm an effing fortune teller or something? A mind reader? What you thinking here? She tell her, and she was like, I want my money back. She said, what money, Miss Tandy? I don't know what the F you talking about. So she's like, do I have to spell it out to you? She said, Blue said, get the F out the office. She said, look, they told me that you sent them to my house to rob me and take up my money. She said, who? Who's they? Your dancers. Which dancers? Your junior dancers. Ray Sean, Trouble, and Champ. And she's like, really? And Madam said, I don't know why. She said, I sent them because I did not. She said, so I have a problem with that biatch. She said, because one, she lied on me. And two, if I did send her, she a mother effing snitch. I said, oh God. So Miss Tandy's like, so if I retaliate, you won't protect them? She said, well, if I recall, you did some real messed up foul-ish to Ray Sean. So the way I see it, y'all are mother effing even. And Miss Tandy was like, I was hoping you wouldn't say that. She said, well, you know what? Go shoot your shot and you'll see. Now get out of my office. So when she left, Blue said, Madam, do you believe her? And she said, yeah, what, that they robbed her? She said, yeah. She said, that's good. She deserved it. She said, what you want me to do with trouble? She said, we'll deal with her later. Has anybody heard from that nurse? She said, I got somebody on it and she's not home yet. So now we see Trouble coming off the stage, and Miss Tandy confronts her and told her, oh, you like to lie? You a liar. She's like, what you talking about? Yeah, you a liar. She said, if I don't have all my money at my house by tomorrow morning, you going to need some life insurance for your mother effing mama. And Trouble was like, whatever, get the F out of my face. So Tandy walks off, and Champ is like, yo, you think she told? And she's like, nah, I don't think she told, because Madam would have been here for us already. So she said, you know what? I'm going to go see Madam and give her the news about the white boy. So she goes over there to go tell Tommy that she needs to talk to Madam, and he's like, he don't let her in there. She's not talking to you right now, because nobody knows that her father was killed. So Tommy is thinking that Trouble is about getting on to the main stage. And she said, it's not even about that. It's about Casanova. He's alive. And Tommy said, how the hell you know that? And she said, because I saw him. He said, no, you didn't. And he's not trying to believe her. And she's saying she was at the precinct and she saw him come out dressed as a bum and all of this stuff. And he's like, you must be mistaken. She said, no, Champ saw him too. And she called Champ over, and Champ co-signed and said he saw it too. And Tommy said, today? He said, yeah, today. He said, I'll tell her. She said, well, tell her it came from me. He said, whatever. She said, seriously, tell her it came from me, that I gave you the information. He said, go dance or something. So here we see Miss Tandy ain't left the club yet, and she's checking out Big D. And she asks who he is and stuff. And then he was talking to her, and he said, I know you're not leaving. Your pretty little A, why don't you stay right here? And she said, well, what you got for me? He said, I'll show you up in VIP. So she said, oh, okay. So he called Tommy and told Tommy he going to take her up there right quick. And Tommy looked at Miss Tandy up and down and said, yeah, okay. He said, oh, and by the way, I did that thing for you. And Tommy said, yeah, great. He said, you really earned my trust. And you know Big D is talking about getting rid of Casanova body and killing him and all that stuff. So, he about to get busted too. So Face comes up to Tommy and said, wow, you really gonna let him take her up there to VIP? He said, why? He said, that's my tipper. He said, Igga, the way I'm feeling, I'll bust you in the face right now. Get out of my face. I said, oh, snap. And Punk behind Face did just that. So now we have Blue coming to get Amp in the dressing room saying Madam wants to talk to him. So he leaves out, and then Fuego asks Blue, can he talk to Madam? And she's like, she busy. What's up? And he said, I really need to talk to her because something is strange is going on. You know, my computer was hacked, and, you know, he's telling them everything that they told him that about they could get into the phones and everything. And then they told him that Madam set him up with Sandra. And Blue said, get the F out of here. And he's like, I'm telling you, Blue, that's what they said. And she's like, do you really think that Madam would set you up? He said, no. She said, yeah, you do. And he said, look, this is very important. That's why I should be talking to Madam myself. Nah, you ain't going to talk to him. If you know how to hack into stuff, you need to protect our phones and stuff. That's what she's saying. He said, whatever you're doing on your phones, just be careful. And Blue is like, isn't Madam paying you to protect our stuff? He said, yes. She said, well, make sure my phone, Tommy's phone, and Madam's phone does not get hacked. And he said, I'll do my best. She said, now get on that effing computer and start now. And I was like, damn, everybody all in defense mode and everybody's so tough. But they ain't as tough as they really think they are. So now we up in VIP, and Miss Tandy got Big D up there and stuff, and he's dancing saying you like this and stuff, and she's letting him know that Face was one of her regulars and stuff. He said was or still, and she said was. He said, okay, so I got me, let's do this, you know. And so she said, I like to F. And he said, oh. He said, I got you then. So he goes over to her and about to kiss her. She said, oh no, I don't kiss on the lips. He said, well, spread them legs so I can kiss them other lips. I said, oh no, he didn't. And so Big D did his thing on Miss Tandy. So now it switches over to Madam's office, and Amp is coming in there. He sits down and she lets him know that her father died, which is his grandpa, you know, and he starts reminiscing about some stuff, and she told him not to do it. You know, don't do that. And he's like, oh, my bad. But he's like, I'm sorry, Auntie, you know. And he gave her his condolences and then asked, you know, how did he die, if she didn't mind him asking. And he also asked when the funeral was, and she said in 2 days, and he said, wow, that's quick. But then he looked at her and said, for real, Auntie, how are you doing? I know how much you loved him. How are you? And she's like, yes, I did love him, and you did too. I know. And he said, yeah, he used to call me Ampy. He started smiling and was about to start reminiscing again, which Madam didn't want to hear any of it. So he got up and left, saying, thanks for letting me know. And when he opened the door, he turned around and looked at her. And I think he could tell that Madam was in pain and sad and hurting. And I think that touched his heart. So now back over to VIP, where Big D is working on Miss Tandy. And Tommy come in there and say, time is up. Get your ass to the stage now. You got to go. Stop. And she's looking at, him and looking at Big D. And Big D said, I'll call you. And it's funny because Tommy called her a nasty ass. So now Big D is on stage performing, and Tommy's talking to Blue saying, you ever heard of a bullet that bleeds on the inside and stuff? And Blue said, when you said it, I looked it up and I couldn't find nothing on it. And so Blue said, what, you gonna ask him for something? He said, yeah. She said, I don't think it's a good idea. He said, well, I'm starting to doubt him anyway. She said, why? He said, because Trouble and Champ said they saw him coming out of a police station today. She said, what? You effing kidding me? And so he's like, I got to find out if it was him before I let Madam know. And Blue is like, you better hurry your ass up with that. And she said, you better get that Igga. He said, as soon as he get off stage, I'm on it. And at this point, we see Trouble and Madam both coming towards them in a different direction. And Trouble's trying to talk to Madam. And Tommy's like, what I tell you? Get the hell out of here. She ain't talking to you. Meanwhile, Madam saying, I got word that the nurse is home. Come on, let's roll. Then we see Amp confronting Dime, letting her know that he was an a-hole and that he apologized. Yes, he lied, but she lied too. And he said, I woke up this morning realizing if you really wanted to get me in trouble, you could have gone to the police, but you didn't. And he said, I'm really sorry. He said, I effed up. He said, but you effed up too. She said, but when you effed up, you went for the jugular. So basically, Dime wasn't trying to hear him, but, I think she did hear him. And so it ends with Madam and them just walking into Nurse Johnson's house. And the first thing she says to us, how much did they pay you? She's like, what? She said, yeah, how much did they pay you to kill my father? And she's like, what? No, no. And Madam pull out a gun and start shooting at her. And the Nurse Johnson is running through her house. And she shot again at her. And Nurse Johnson ran around the corner. And who's sitting there in the wheelchair but Madam's father? Madam's like, what the fuck? She's like, what? So her daddy is alive, but he didn't tell Madam. He needed her to probably go through all those stages of grief and get all crazy and stuff. But your daughter wild and start killing people. She be wilding. Anyway, that's the way it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I thought it was pretty cool. And I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.